Hello and welcome back to FM23. Now, this is the second episode of our beta series on Nottingham Forest. Now, as I said in the first episode, I was going to try and sell a few players, and I have done that. So, not with necessarily masses of money. This goalkeeper's going for, I think he's pretty much going for free transfer, to be fair. Jack Colbert back. The main reason to get rid of him is he's 20k a week and he's never going to play. That's 425,000. Could rise up to 850. Cafu, great name, but not as good as his predecessor, if you like. Midfielder, 1.5 million to Norwich. Sam Surridge, they wanted to sell it to buy him for 725k, but he's actually worth, well, at least his transfer value is 2 mil. So I'm going to try and get around that for him. And then Lila Taylor, 475,000, could rise up to 950, and he's 32 years old, and he is also on a 15,000 a week. So another player who is grossly overpaid for the amount of football that he's going to play. Now, as you can see, I've tried to get a few loans, and I have no idea if any of these players will be good or not. What I have noticed on FM22 or 23, is that actually a lot of these players who in previous, or this player is apparently joining us in the first. Now, he's not one I signed. He looks pretty good though, so there's a good bit of value on him. I don't know actually. They got one free as well. Okay, so obviously in real life that was a transfer that's going to go through, and it looks pretty good. But yeah, I don't know if any of these players are going to come off. We could all see in a second that actually I have no idea what I'm talking about, and none of these trialists are any good. In FN23, it does seem like a lot of the players who are free agents, maybe good for like your Championship, your League One players, and maybe like European leagues where you've got less money, but for Premier League there's very slim pickings in my opinion. But we'll see. Some of these players may come good. I doubt it, to be honest. I doubt, not because I'm saying that and then hoping that one does come good. I generally doubt that any of these players are any good, but I just figured I'd try and get them in on trial just in case my view was not one that is replicated by my assistant manager. Now, I tend to take in what the assistant manager says, quite a lot. If he says it's going to be good, then I will, didn't mean to do that, then I will take in that opinion. So we'll see what it comes out as at the second. Like I said, I'm not holding out the most hope. Yeah, so he's clearly not going to make it, which is fine. We'll terminate his loan. Won't even go any further with that. Again, really poor. So yeah, you could find out very quickly that none of these players are, and that's fine. One of the reasons why I did it was because I didn't think they were any good, as it were. And I like to trial players before I get them in. Again, it could be just a case of going through each of these and then find out nobody's any good, which it seems the way. But I mean, someone like him, Simone Sarro, who played for West Ham a few years ago now, 2016, 2017, didn't do much for them. But, he is a good player. He would be good for your, if you could get him as a Championship team. I don't know how much his wages would demand. We can have a quick look at that. So, another new feature in FM23 is that the agent is much more involved. As you can see in a second, if I go in there and he says, that's clearly nobody in Championship's can afford that, you can go, no, I don't want to pay that, and then they bring it down to 31. So, if I did want that player, that would have been a good little bit of, money I would have saved, if you like. But no, he is no good, and he'd be a hard sale on a lot of teams, to be fair. Again, nobody, no good. So it could be like none of these players come off, to be fair. And like I say, that's fine. If that's the case, that's the case. I mean, he is usually a good player, has been in the previous one, at least, for a team in the Championship. But again, he's probably going to ask for loads, I'd imagine. Let's see. No, see, that is a wage perhaps you could make work in that league. He won't bring the wage down. I didn't really select. You might have been some better options to encourage him to do that. But yeah, I have saved some money. Again, another player, ex-Man City player. Really went downhill when he left Man City. By the look of it, Valencia didn't really play any games. Played a lot of games for Man City in a couple of seasons. Went on loan. Valencia played a couple of games. They signed him on a free and then didn't really play him. I don't know if there's any injuries involved there. I'm not sure, but certainly he's not going to be making his way to us. So yeah, all of those players turned out to be a waste of time, which is one of those. We can't judge, we didn't know that was going to be the case. Let's look at tactics. So we want to, again, I don't want to keep it like this because we'll get kicked, our ass will get kicked. So we want to go short. Don't mind that. Play a slightly lower tempo maybe. I think I'm going to overlap, and then we'll keep it like that because we are going to be, and I don't want to specify in that. Now you can see this is pretty much the same again as the previous Football Manager. I think we'll go take short kicks. So I don't trust his throwing ability perhaps. But you can see the difference between, this is a new section on, I was hoping to get here quickly, and this we have, let's see, you can see defensive line, step more up, will ask for defenders to press typically higher up on the pitch in an effort to compact the midfield space ahead of them and give the opposition less room, unchallenged time on the ball. It can, however, be susceptible to having long balls played behind them. So maybe it's a hard one, because if you've got teams like with Salah and players like that, and you're going to knock the ball over the top of you, you could end up finding yourself, killed very quickly there. Let's have a look at press and trap inside. Ask your team to get set pressing trap designed to funnel the ball into central areas and focus on turnovers in advantageous areas. I think I just screwed that word up massively there. But yeah, you can tap inside or outside. Basically same thing again, designed to funnel the ball in the wide areas when opposition have fewer options on the ball and more likely to concede position. We're going to go with that one. And then we're going to, I don't know how often you'd want to invite across personally, but that's just me. So yeah, I think we've got a good team here. We're not going to be able to do much in the transfer window. That is something that is evident in terms of, we will get some wages back, but what that wages will dictate. Here we go. We can see some scouting recommendations here. Now, if you had some money, he might be a great signing there. He's a great midfielder. I don't know how he comes in and against others. Comes out quite well, to be fair. But yeah, Gibbs White, he's got so much more potential. He could come good. But yeah, decent Premier. Maybe some option to loan, maybe. Yeah, he could do, but then he wants some ridiculous money if he gets in. So yeah, maybe not him. But you can see how it works in terms of scouting. That's come out quite well. He's already on loan, so I don't know why they're offering him, because we're not going to be able to get him necessarily. And it works like it did previously. You can just tick him off like that when you're done with more pursue further on. He's 19. Plays for the Brazilian Red Bull team. So yeah, he'd be a good signing perhaps. He must have a lot of potential. No, not really. So they're kind of rubbish scouting things, really, if we're being honest. They're not the greatest in terms of, I don't know if it did this before, but it tells you how many days left to transfer window, which is quite cool. Again, most of it's pretty much similar to how it was before in that sense. I haven't seen masses of changes in this one. I think there were probably some clauses, no doubt, in. Not so many in. There's probably lots more out. I remember him going over there, I think he went in the summer, didn't he? I bet they wish they hadn't sold him. He's a great player. It'd be due 11 million if they get promoted from the Premier League. 1 million, sorry, if they get promoted from the Premier League, and 10% of his profits. Matty Cash. Should get some money coming in for him. That'd be nice. Ben Osborne, another instalment on him. So we've got some money coming in actually, and this is I'm surprised they let him go, but he seemed to want to go. Did really well for him last season. Played a lot of games for him actually in a short period of time. But yeah, they made some money on him, so I guess that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not, it's going to be another short episode. I just really wanted to show you the transfers. We'll keep it going a little longer. I'm not going to play the friendlies. I'm just going to get them to play on their own. As you can see, that was a massively failed trial experience there. No offer on any of those players, unfortunately. I'm not surprised. They're the older players. Someone like Arthur, for example. Why would someone want him? I guess you could argue, and I don't necessarily have the answer to that. He is. We can pretty much let him go on a free. We're a Premier League team. We can pretty much do that. Same as Hennessy. We could he's worth 2, so maybe we can't. Maybe we'll try for 1.5 and see if anything comes of that. I'm sorry if you can hear the clicking in this one as well. I realised now that I just put my mouse really close to the microphone, which is great for the recording. But hopefully it doesn't come off too bad in the video. But yeah, squad dynamics, introduce yourself. Pretty much, like I say, the same as before. I think, they're not going to like that. It's going to say that, oh dear, I made a screw up here. Can we get them round? Looks like we may have just about done that. They don't hate us, that's good. Some of them we screwed up. I sometimes don't read those as closely as I probably should, which is a fault on my part. But yeah, I don't know where we're going to go with transfers. In some ways, the save is an interesting choice for me, really, because we're as a beta save, I was just curious because players like Lingard, I would find it very unlikely is going to. Can we trigger? We can trigger a contract extension apparently. Yeah, I think he's someone who you would probably want to wait on because if you're doing really bad and you're in a relegation position, which apparently the AI in terms of managers is much better, so maybe it'll be easier to get relegated than it has done previously. But I haven't really come cropper to getting relegated in Football Manager. Not that I'm claiming to be a messiah at the game or anything, but I tend to survive that kind of thing relatively well. Um, Press conferences. I don't think they've. I mean, maybe they've improved this element. I don't know. Sometimes find press conferences for me personally just too boring. I just click through them, and generally people seem to like it on the whole. Maybe there's some negatives in I didn't even look. See, again, the scouts are coming back in. I don't know why they're determining. Oh, yeah, so you can click there and see it like in the old way that you would have done before. So if we go back and we go scouting recommendation, I didn't know this was a thing. You can see it like this, and then you can click through. Now, I don't know a lot about any supposed wonder kids, but I would say there's going to be, if you go to the obvious places in South America, maybe someone like Boca Juniors, for example, or someone like that, there's bound to be some young, unearthed talent sitting in that team, which maybe we can tap into. There also tends to be cheaper players in some of these teams as well. I've always been surprised over the years how cheap some of these players are compared to the obvious, like... I'm just clicking really quickly there, I apologise. But if we looked in here, just see if I can find someone like him, for example, he's, if you can get him within like 2-3 mil, that's actually pretty good for someone like that. His pace stat being 18, acceleration. I wonder if we'll do a scout and see what comes back. Unfortunately, scouting race doesn't go that far, which is not our best surprise, I guess. Old Manchester United player in there. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be some good players in there. I mean, look, someone like him maybe would be good. I sometimes my Football Manager's quality of player radar is not very good. Sometimes it tends to find these players. I think I've had him before and he has been really good. But he's getting 7 mil to 10.5. If he had the money, he'd be laughing in that sense. But I guess generally speaking, people don't. So he's obviously, did he not go into Europe? Yeah, he went to Europe and had a pretty unsuccessful time. But for Boca Juniors, he did score some goals. I remember seeing him in a documentary, I think, and he did really well for them that season. So yeah, this is possibly the play, especially with the Brexit rules. I think this is definitely the place to. Is that Pochettino? I'm guessing his dad, his son of. Yeah, maybe not. I just assumed he would be with a name. Maybe not. I'm sure he possibly is, but I don't know. Either way, there's bound to be some players knocking about in here. Maybe off camera, I'll find them. He looks like he could be a good player, 21 years old. I guess actually probably the easiest way of finding these players is just to look in the youth teams of these players. I mean, that's an obvious statement, I guess. It's bound to be some players knocking about. I've changed the view on this just so up as I mean, just personal preference, but I like to see it like this. So some of these players are bound to be good, and I'm sure there's some deals in there. And I mean, you can find that online. I tend to let the game over a period of time show me the players, if you like, because I don't want it to be too easy. I mean, anyone can look at a thing and find out who the best players are and sign them. It takes another level of skill to actually find them yourself. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Football Manager, I've always been a big fan of the way Football Manager is what you make it. If you want to play it that way, that's perfectly fine. If you don't, it's also fine. Well, I think I'm going to leave this video here. Now, I know there hasn't been much action. I think in the next, for the next video, I think I'll play ahead a bit, get maybe most of pre-season done, and we'll start to come back and look at the team that we've created and so forth, see if we've managed to sign anyone, etc., etc. Again, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give my channel a like, or give this video a like, but my channel a like and a subscribe. The more people that come, the more fun it is. So